Good afternoon. I am Judge Deborah Thomas. I am so glad that you are tuning in. I have a wonderful guest today who's been always active in the community. He's got a number of things that is going on currently. And so before we do anything else, get your pencil and paper. All right, I've got some information for you. You're going to have to jot this down. I don't want you to say, "Oh, Judge, I didn't make it because I forgot." And then if you know someone else that needs to be there, you can share the information. And so get your pencil and paper. My guest today is the Reverend Dr. George Cushenberry. How you doing?
Every day is a blessing, Judge.
It certainly is. Now you better lean into this mic so these folks can hear you.
Okay.
There you go. That's much better. We were just talking about the fact that there is an expungement form coming up. I'm going to do an expungement form.
All right. I often talk. The last several weeks, I have been a host on 910 from 6 to 7. And I often tell people to call you because your expungement fairs, I was at the first one.
All right.
And I remember it. And I love you because you have continued to do good in the neighborhood like you always have done. Those expungement fairs, for those who you don't know, she has volunteer lawyers and others who come in and help you evaluate your case so that you can clean up your record. I wish we had some strength in the legislature to introduce some bills like 30-year no reason at the discretion of the judge, because in a lot of cases, people have multiple offenses when they had drug habits and other problems, but they've cleaned their lives up and they can't never get their record back. So we need to change the expungement law bad, but we just ain't had nobody that has guts enough to take it on. We hoping that we'll get some people that'll want to take these kind of issues on in the legislature, because a whole lot of hoopla and a lot of meetings don't mean nothing. You got to read to succeed. That's why I'm so proud of you. And when is the next one?
Let's tell folks. April 21st. All right, that's like 2 weekends from now. So there's plenty of time for you to arrange for a babysitter. If you need a ride, in order to get your ride straight, April 21st is on a Saturday. We're going to start at 1 o'clock. I'm going to do the show. I'm going to lead the show. I'm going to go straight there. We're going to start at 1 o'clock. It's at New St. Paul's Church of God in Christ. That's on the corner of Finkel and the Southfield Service Drive. All right, you know where Grand River, Finkel, Southfield all run in together?
Yes.
That's where the church is located. Of course, it's always free.
It's a beautiful church.
It
has a beautiful pastor and bishop.
Yes. So that's when our next forum is going to be. We're going to start on time. We always start on time.
I just thought maybe, Judge, I retired from law now. I had 1,100 cases, and that's enough. I'm burnt out. I admire you to be able to continue. I saw Judge Strong, and I told him too, but I couldn't. In 2013, the doctor gave me a choice. He said, you only can live with so much pressure for so long, otherwise you ain't going to make it. So I decided at that point that I was going to have to retire from law because I couldn't take the pressure of that and public life.
It's one of the more stressful professions.
Yes. So I am having a wonderful time now.
What you doing now?
Now I'm working on my pet projects. Number one, you got to read to succeed. To get what you need, you got to read. The biggest problem in the black community today is that we ain't reading. We do a whole lot of rapping, but we don't do no mapping. Ain't nobody paying no attention to their own history, so they talk crazy all the time. And they don't know what they're talking about half the time because the law done changed. You have to read to succeed.
Well, we have a rather high illiteracy rate.
Yes.
In the African-American community, but there are several programs that are out there.
Yes, we were successful in working down at the council to expand the Dominican Literacy Project so that you can access that and all the other services to allow you to improve yourself through the Detroit's Job Corporation. In an innovative partnership with the state of Michigan, we also have tied the state's programs as it relates to jobs and economic development for
Now, the Dominican
individuals
Literacy Program, they've been around for a number of years.
and been very successful.
I know there is a location at the Samaritan Center. That's on Connor.
If you come into any of the centers where we have the Detroit Jobs Corporations, they can hook you into the Dominican Literacy. That's how it's organized now, is that it's like the gatekeepers come through. Let me give you an example, Judge. If you come over to Northwest Activity Center and you get there by around 8:30, we can give you tests.
8:30 in the morning.
Yes, ma'am.
So you got to want it bad enough to get up out the bed.
You gotta want it, because then we're gonna give you some tests. After they give you the test, then they're going to take a look at what your skill levels are, and will help you tailor the program. And all of them are free. The difference between when me and you was coming along and today is, if you're a high school student in Detroit, you get your education paid for if you graduate from a Detroit high school. You don't got to worry about no college education pay. We had a thing called the Kalamazoo Promise in 2007 that we brought to Detroit in 2009.
Okay.
Mayor Doug, it didn't get implemented until 2014.
All right.
But it got implemented when some of us had to review the law, and then we were able to make it available to students in the Detroit public schools.
So if you have a high school diploma and you want vocational training, one place you can go is Northwest Activity Center.
All of the other centers, the Samaritan Center, Northwest Activity Center, there's a center in Southwest Detroit. If you go up on the City of Detroit's website and put in Detroit Jobs Corporation sites, it'll show you. If you go up on the City of Detroit's website and you put in jobs for Detroiters, it'll show you. Any of those centers can take you into the Dominican program through a grant that we were able to corral, if you will, for that agency to expand its programs. It's been the most successful. And I want to stay on this literacy because it has an impact on the discourse in the community. And when we have forums and other sorts of things, if people really have taken the time to study, and there is some other sources that you can get. You don't have to just be confused with TV2 News. You can watch 33. You can go on and listen to public radio. There's a lot of different places for you to get information so that your information is accurate. I think that Detroit is a great city right now for all of us. There's so many jobs downtown, but you can't come downtown if you can't read and get a job. Mama, daddy, auntie, uncle, we have to quit telling our kids that they can get by with just any kind of high school diploma. It won't take you very far in the new economy. The new economy is going to require more, and more. Now, there are shortcuts. We have created free libraries for the blind and hearing impaired.
Okay.
And anybody can access them if they want them. If you don't have time to sit there with the book, you can listen. If you go over to WC3, they have for the GED a whole set of course books that are available to you if you just decide to make a move. You don't have to be stuck. You can be a part of the future of this great city in this great megapolis of Detroit.
So there are a lot of opportunities available, and a lot of them are free.
Yes, ma'am. That's what I'm trying to say. And I'm so sorry to see that we're not taking advantage of them, because of course the Trumpsters and the Brigham Brothers, Barnum and Bailey down there in Washington would like to sure enough mess up everything that Obama has done, but they won't be able to do it because it was righteous work. It was the right thing to do. This assault on Medicaid and Medicare and the poor, that's ridiculous to me. How can you want to hurt the people who can least afford it? And quit beating up on people who have to accept assistance. Most of our families over the years have had to, as we continue to struggle our way up. I don't like this bad tone I see where we want to be against somebody because they're having a hard time. Look, we got a huge mental health problem in this state and in this country, and we continue to have shootings and all kinds of other things. We got to do something about this police shoot first John Wayne B-movie attitude in terms of things like Sacramento. We shouldn't be continuing to have to live like this in the United States of America, where we have a president and his top advisors that go overseas and say you should be proud to be called a racist.
All
I
right,
am,
well, we're going to get back to what we can do locally,
yeah, because you
what
see,
services we have locally, because we need to. You got to take the first step.
that's right,
You got
and
to take the first step.
you
Now
do.
we have a lot of young adults who maybe didn't finish school and now they have families and they're trying to do jobs and they're not moving up. And sometimes I know if at past age 21, they have to pay in order to get their high school diploma or their GED. But sometimes if you get into some of these programs, those services are provided for
For you.
free.
There's one on the boulevard, the multicolored building there on the boulevard across from the Belfield branch of the library. That organization pays that for people who want it. If you call the UF and tell them, uh,
United Foundation?
isn't that 211, I think it is?
Yeah, 211.
211, they will give you a reference of at least 6 or 7 organizations who will help you with that. If you ain't got no money to get your ID, if you ain't got no money to pay for the little bit of money that it takes for you to enroll in the GED program. Then, if you remember what I was trying to say, if you come to Northwest Activity Center, the Samaritan
Now, are they
Center,
doing that every day of the week? A Monday through
Monday through
Friday?
Friday,
Okay.
from 9 a.m. to 5. Now, I don't know the afternoon schedule anymore,
Well, 9 to 5 is just, pretty much a good
but
part
I
of the
do
day.
know that if you get there by 8:30, they can test you up. In some cases, people go in there and get tested up and get matched for jobs that day.
Ah,
The other thing that's really great about what we've been able to do at Northwest is that there's a computer lab and there's the Hope office, so you can clean up your credit at the same time.
okay. We keep talking about Northwest Activity Center like everybody knows where that's at.
That's on the corner of Curtis and Myers in Northwest Detroit. It's the old Jewish Community Center. It's accessible by the Dexter bus. It's accessible by
McNichols, anything going down
McNichols.
6 miles,
Yeah,
7 miles, because it's between 6 and 7 miles.
yes, ma'am.
And Myers.
Yes,
All
and
right.
okay. Well, I'm stuck on literacy because I think that that's the magic bullet that everybody's looking for. If we could get everybody on the
And
same
that's
page,
west side, but east side is can
it's
go
the
to
Samaritan
Samaritan Center.
Center.
And
That's right.
that's on Connor
And
between Mac and 94 Freeway.
that's right next
Yeah.
to the community college there.
Right.
It's the old Samaritan Hospital.
Right.
And there's one in Southwest Detroit. It's escaping me right now, Judge. When we take a break, I'll look it up. But there's one in Southwest Detroit too. I think it's called Sur Metro, and it's on Michigan Avenue. So there are locations. And those of you who are tech savvy, you got your phones. Go to DetroitMI.gov, DetroitMI.gov, and you will be able to pull up the city's website. I also want to say that if you want to have better timing with the buses so that you don't have to sit there and wait, there's an app that you can go to also so that you know when the bus is scheduled to be at the stop that you're at. So those are the things that I think have really helped us a lot in our city to make it a little bit
Now,
better.
there are a lot of programs right now in terms of vocational training, job skills, because, plumbing, building, where they're doing apprenticeship program.
It's estimated that in the next 4 years, just with what's on the books, that we're going to need approximately 260, 270,000 skilled tradespersons to come into the
How many?
trades. 260 to 270,000
Thousand.
because everybody's retiring from the baby boom.
Well, this is true. We need to be trying to.
10, yeah, 10,000 people a day are retiring. I'm sorry, are turning 65. So it's astronomical. And okay, if you want to access the building trades, you come over. These are my places that you and I have been struggling for years. A. Philip Randolph, the A. Philip Randolph Center that we opened up in the 70s, and then it got under disarray and closed. And now it's back open because people see the value of having skilled tradespeople. So if anybody's interested in getting into electricity, any of the skilled
Yes.
trades,
I think there's at least 12 of them that have been listed
yes, ma'am.
for the skilled trades, and that doesn't take a 4-year process.
That's right. Well, it may take a 4-year process for you to become a master if you can't get enough work and if you aren't dedicated enough to it. But you have to get ready and you have to study. That one you have to be able to pass a drug test. Go in, talk to your friends, get the cleanse, get the golden COT, and clean up your act before you come to start that program.
Now,
Even
where is the
even
A.
if
Philip
even if
Randolph Center located?
that is located on the corner of 6 Mile and Hubble, 6 Mile and Hubble, six
So
mile and
you
Hubble.
could go to Northwest Activity
Mm-hmm.
and leave there and go around the corner.
Right.
Because 6 Mile and Hubble's in walking distance.
Yeah, it's less than a mile. You're right.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you'll be at it's 2 miles. You'll be at Myers, and then to be at Hubble is the A. Philip Randolph Center. At the A. Philip Randolph Center, which you also can access online, the city, in conjunction with the school district, now has a direct feeder program for you to be able to sign up for the trades. Now, Judge, the one that I'm sad that I haven't been successful with, that I got to, I can't give up. I need your help. I need the community's help. Is reopening the Benjamin O. Davis at the Detroit airport, because into the 22nd century, we will continue to work with aircraft and other that go in the air, all kinds of new types of satellites, the drones that are in between satellites,
Drones, that's a big
and
area of
yes,
upcoming growth.
yes, all of those things are available. And they took our school as template and model, passed some legislation, and built a West Michigan Aviation Academy, put it on the Gerald Ford Airport grounds, and got a certification. We lost ours.
I
Our
think that's
certi-
over what, Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids
it's
area?
in Grand Rapids,
Grand
right in front
Rapids
of the
area.
Gerald Ford Airport. It's right in front of it, so that it's connected, so that the students get actual
Are they still
participation.
teaching these flight skills,
But
air mechanic
you
skills?
can't get the certification unless you're on an airport. So they over there. That
Oh.
was part of Robert Bob messed up, and I'm still mad behind all those. Well, don't be mad, because we're gonna change things, and the school board is coming a long way.
So the
But
Detroit City Airport is still open and operating.
yes, and if the school was on the grounds, it
People
was
could get
still certified.
certification.
Yeah, and so I'm doing my best to try to bring that together, and then we've got to upgrade it. We have some of the busiest traffic that there is in these new designs of drones and satellites and other types of aircraft. That's another growing field. People who graduated from the Benjamin O. Davis wound up with certification to be able to go to work anywhere. We got the Fire Academy over there. If we combine the two sets of programs, we could have a unique school that would be more unique than any place in the world, because we could specialize in aviation fires. I, the potential
Ooh, now that would be phenomenal.
the potential for us, if we can get our act together, pray, because we're going to need a lot of prayer. For those of you who didn't know, I have been an ordained Baptist minister for over 2 decades, and this Sunday I'm going to be over at the Day Spring Missionary Baptist Church, Judge, which is over on Conant, just south of 7 Mile, in between 6 and 7 Mile, with Reverend Ford and the family there. I'm going to be preaching a sermon about love and
Okay.
why love wins.
Because God is love.
That's right.
See
And so,
there?
so she took my sermon
Well,
already.
hey, what can I tell you? I was raised Baptist.
Me too. It's easy. That's what I tell people. You got to live it.
Yeah.
You got to live into it. So,
For
I,
those of you who have just tuned in, my guest today is the Reverend Dr. George Cushenberry. We have been talking about, and I'm gonna give you the time and place again for the expungement forum. We have an expungement forum that is coming up on April 21. It's 2 weeks from today, April 21. We're going to start at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We're gonna start on time. Okay, you roll in there too. You're gonna miss half of it, but okay, you can get the second half. We're going to start at 1 o'clock, April 21st. That's the location is the new St. Paul Church on Finkel, corner of Finkel and the Southfield Service Drive. And we're going to talk step by step. We're going to try to give you enough information where you'll be able to do your own expungement. We are going to have attorneys on hand, so if you need some backup help, somebody's going to help you with that process. We will have attorneys on hand. And we're going to have questions answered. We're also going to talk about federal pardons because some folks don't have state cases, they have federal cases. So we're also going to talk about the federal pardon process. And again, the forum, expungement forum, is going to be Saturday, April 21st, 1 o'clock sharp. I'm going to do the show, and I'm going to leave here, and I'm going to get over there, and we're going to start on time. Also, we're going to include a list of felony-friendly employers and staffing agencies.
I was just going to make a mention of that. I was going to tell you I'm not practicing law. I'm going to put on my professor hat. And in Michigan, the expungement law allows you to expunge a felony and up to 2 misdemeanors, maybe more if you can figure out a plan on how to do it in terms of the misdemeanors. The old law used to be that you could, if you had 2 offenses that were of the same incident, that you could expunge it too. Now that's, in some counties, it's a gray area, and it's an area that makes it difficult for us to clean up the records of a lot of good people. The simplest way for us to do it would be to get a bill that says after 30, 40 years, whatever.
That's a long time.
30 years.
Most folks aren't even working after 30 years.
Right, but some of them are because.
How about if 2 charges out of 1 incident?
Yes,
and nothing in 10 years.
Right.
Something a little bit shorter, because I find that a lot of folks pick up their records in their 20s.
Yes.
And those are usually the most productive years, given the opportunity.
Yes, ma'am.
So, and we do have a number of people, I've come across a number of people who have more than 1 offense because, as you say, drug addiction.
Yes, ma'am. I know, right? And that's what I'm saying. We need some people who go to the legislature who put the nose to the grind instead of always the finger in the wind, and do some things that we got to have done to improve the community. Now, we got some shortstop things that we've done. For example, in the city, we have a program that is just designed for returning citizens. And I am so proud of the work of Councilwoman Janae Ayers in that area, because Janae has really led the way to see to it that people have an opportunity to work. She comes out of that the Casino Workers Union anyway, so she has a good union heart anyway, and she's been trying to get them to see how important it is for us to give opportunities to people. And I'm so happy you brought up that, what we used to call, when I used to work with you down there with Judge Cahalan, we used the crime-prone years was from 18 to 30. And after that, people didn't commit too many crimes.
It slowed down a whole lot.
Right. And then the other thing is I tell people is to remember that crime is down not because of the police. Crime is down because we're not having as many babies in that era. There's many less young people between the ages of 18 and 30 now than there was in the last 3 decades. So that means we're going to have less crime. So I'm just fit to be tied with the way that we have still we moved away from using money to help people and back to war. We can't sustain ourselves very long that way. We have to continue to try to work on people.
We got a couple of calls in. I'm going to see if I can pick up some of these folks, see if they have a question. Hello, caller.
Yes. Good afternoon. I have a quick question and concern for Mr. Cushenberry.
Go right ahead.
I know that you used to be the councilman over District 2, and you know that it was a recreation center that had been up in the air for some time. And while you were councilman, we were trying to get the center to be in the hold of the community's hand, not basically another organization, to come in and take the land and things of that nature. Now, I spoke with you the last time I seen you, which was, I said, last year.
Come on, get to the question. We're running out of time here.
Okay. So what are you going to do, or do you even have a focus on the Johnson's Recreation Center?
All right. The
by
question.
you running for state senator.
All right. The question is there something that's still being done with the community's concern about the Johnson Recreation Center?
So, um, I'm trying to remember her face because I talked to a lot of people about Johnson Center for a long time, and we've had several plans. It started first with the plan with Oak Grove. They were going to build a new church in the 60s and the 50s. At the other end of the Joe Louis Playfield was a church, so that would have been easier for zoning purposes because there's already been a church down there. It didn't work out because of who knows. The Johnson Center then closed. The pool was never built right in the first place because it was an outdoor pool that they just built. They just built a shelter around that made it impossible to operate well under the new guidelines of how you have to operate a pool. We don't have a pool anywhere around there. We had contacted the Olympic Committee because we wanted to have an Olympic-sized pool where we could have Olympic-style diving for the next generation of young black kids. That takes time to implement a comprehensive plan like that.
Is the center now closed?
The center is closed. The
And
current
hope of getting it back open?
No, not in the shape that it's in now. The best bet for us is to spend the $250,000 and tear it down and build something new. As you know, I'm no longer a city councilman, and thank God I'm not, because what I found is that I've been able to accomplish a lot more of the things that I think are important, right? I would suggest that she contact Councilman Roy McAllister. Currently before the city is a possibility that the University of Detroit would take over the field and open up the center, keeping the pool closed, which in my opinion doesn't make sense.
Well, if it's not, if it doesn't meet code, you
Right.
can't have folks swimming in a pool that doesn't meet code, but you might be able to use the rest of the building.
Well, that's what
We're
they're
going to
saying.
have to wrap it up. I'm being told we're running out of time. But I do want to tell folks again, the expungement forum is April 21, 1 o'clock. That's a Saturday at 1 o'clock. New St. Paul Church of God in Christ is on the corner of Finkel, Southfield Service Drive. We're going to start on time. All right, we're going to start on time. We're going to start at 1 o'clock.
And tomorrow, over at the Dayspring Missionary Baptist Church, which is located on Conant, south of 7 Mile, you can hear me, and we'll be preaching a sermon on love with Reverend Ford and the family over there. I'm going to be looking forward to it. I haven't been in the pulpit in quite a little while as I continue to work in the vineyard. Come and join us. And if you need further information, you can call us at area code 313-307-8733.
Oh, you better say that again slower.
313
313
307
307
8773.
73. All right, where you preaching tomorrow?
Dayspring Missionary Baptist Church.
And where's it located?
That's over on Conant, just south of 7 Mile, between 6 and 7.
All righty. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so glad that you tuned in today. I hope you got some good information. I hope you had your pencil and paper ready. Remember, there are free literacy programs available that you can find by going to the City of Detroit website. There are free programs for training in the building trades. Information on the City of Detroit website. Opportunity is out there. You just got to get up and go grab it.
Get up, get yourselves together, and drive that funky soul.
I just want to say to each and every one of you, as always, I love you, Detroit.
Amen.